anyway.
Propagatory prowess.
Nah, I'm still using the same puny old dipole I've always had, 100 watts.
Yeah, I love crappy dipoles. I got one too. It works, but it works because I bought my house specifically for that to work well. Like, that's literally why I live here.
Well, I think I have a little bit of a boost because my antenna is like 65 feet over a pond, but it's a multi-band dipole fed with coax, and I was off the air for a while because I had water in the coax, and I sucked the water out of the coax with a vacuum pump. I made a little contraption that flipped over the 259 and sealed up really good. And I was able to pull 29 inches of vacuum or so for like a day and a half. And seems to have worked because I'm back on the air. Anyway, I'm going to go get some dinner. George just reminded me, and I realized I haven't looked at my watch all day. I've been down here all day. It's like 6 o'clock, and no wonder my stomach is growling. So I'll leave everything warmed up. Maybe I'll be back. 7-3 for a bit. KA2 QFX.
Good morning. You should definitely win Frugal Ham Award for that.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Later, Mark. Enjoy.
Yeah, man, I've never heard of that. That's freaking awesome. All right, take care. It's like, you know, when you get the Frosty shake at Wendy's, and they give you a straw, but they know you're going to suck your eyeballs into your head if you try to use that straw.
Oh, that's a clean signal in
exactly.
Maryland. I haven't heard that station before.
You know, I should probably go make dinner too, because, like I said, I gotta go back to work tomorrow. So, and I'm not accustomed to like waking up early right now. I'm on night owl mode. So, yeah, I'm gonna go make dinner and try to get my mind wrapped around the fact that I'm gonna have to be asleep in a couple hours. W2BTK.
All right, Billy. Have a good night. Nice hearing you on the air. See you later. W2PHL.
Yeah, just make yourself
Good night, Billy.
tea and put on some doom metal in those earbuds and you're all set.
Yo, that's right. No, doom metal is kind of relaxing when you compare it to like other kinds of metal. You know, just kind of dark. That's all. Anyway, later, guys. W2BTK. It's been fun. See you soon.
Good night, Billy. I would not recommend the doom metal for bedtime.
I thought the contest was over, Clark. I don't know. You're dropping like flies.
No, why do you have to call me when I'm trying to get a screw put in the side of a chassis here? Yeah, the contest. You didn't notice that? Right at 6 o'clock, boom! All of a sudden, no more.
Well, I'm hearing plenty of it now.
Dinner, Whiskey 3, Oscar Hotel.
All right, Dave. Have a good evening. Catch you later.
Such a hard time keeping people's attention here.
Anyway, my wife makes dinner. I go ahead and go up to eat it because if I don't go up right away, she'll stop making it.
Yes. That's called husband training.
Yes, I'm well trained, unfortunately. And remind me that dinner was ready. He comes down and goes, "Is that Clark? And where's Carrie?"
She bought a buzzer for me, so it goes off. It's like ding dong. So then that's it. Like a good Pavlovian dog, I am on my way.
That he is starting to know all the characters on frequency. I hear RF. Damn it, it's back.
Really left. You sound terrible.
Ugh. The kid knows all the names. He's like, "Dad, that's Perry." What's up, buddy? I was supposed to be going up to eat dinner.
Good evening.
Alright, I'm leaving you in good hands with Perry. Whiskey 3, Oscar Hotel. You guys have a good evening.
Yeah, everyone's having a party tonight.
Yeah, that's a dyslexic version of it. It's actually the QSO party. Yep, RF.
When operating a ham radio, grounding the station is important.
Alright, hold on. Yeah, that didn't fix it either. I just have to unhook that damn antenna wire. That's what the problem is. Like the 150-foot wire, 120, right? To make it perfect for 75 meters that goes all the way to the disc cone antenna. That's what's doing it.
Yeah.
Hold on it. I'm blood off the electricity.
Luckily, I don't hear it because I have a ton of noise tonight, so I hear no RF on your signal.
You can wet your shack while you're at it and read off all those common mode nasties.
Well, it's back.
I heard it there.
It never left. You been sounding crappy all afternoon.
Damn.
This is crazy. It's what bucket? Oh, we're on 85, so this might be normal. People are like 80, 91 or something like that.
All right, here we go. Yeah. If I touch this coax here, yay. No, I don't hear it. If I unhook that, and leave that not connected, I basically disconnected the scanner antenna. The long, gangly wire. Yeah, no, I don't hear it. I guess I'll just leave it as is. Anyway, N1 BCG. Sorry, thank you for your patience.
Wait, so what? You disconnected your scanner antenna and now it went away? Didn't you usually always have that hooked up, right?
Yeah, but the thing that's new, because I was wondering, it's like, why now? And the reason why it's a problem is because I have an ICOM 735, which I recently connected to the audio mixer here, so I could share what I hear on 10 meters with everyone. Well, I disconnected the audio lead from the ICOM to the audio board, and that made all the noise go away. I'm like, well, how's it getting into that? And then I put it back on, I disconnected the power cable, and then the noise went away. It's like, wow, it's coming through the power cable. Well, the power cable is going down to a power supply that also powers It's not a scanner. It's actually a Yaesu FT8800, which is like a 2-meter 440 rig, but I don't have a mic on it. I use that as a scanner for listening. And that goes to a long RG6, a long length of RG6 out to a discone antenna in the attic. And so it was coming from that. This is a weird route. Maybe I should just try grounding the power supply, nip it there. But
nip it.
Connecting the antenna from everything, that solves the problem also.
Interesting.
Nah. Hammy problems.
I'll be honest, I'm extremely surprised that I don't have more RF issues. I do have RF issues on some other bands, like on 20 meters at times, but I mean, my antenna is literally 15 feet above my head right now. Like the whole one leg of it just goes right over the corner of the roof above the shack here. And, big open tuner on the wall, which is, but I'm also not using external audio gear either. I'm using a, Behringer UMC 202 A to D converter right into the PC with a lot of ferrite on it. So maybe if I had all my rack gear hooked up, which I'm going to be hooking up soon to the FT101, so I may have an issue then.
Yeah, I use ferrites on all the internet connecting cables just because I realized I can get everything great on like 80 meters, and then next thing you know, you go on a different band, and it's like feedback city. So.
Oh yeah, I have. Let me make sure I got it. Yeah, I thought I saw Clark here. I have. On the Ethernet cables coming out of the router, going into the modem, or from the modem into the router into the PC, the Ethernet cable going from the Anon to the PC, on every audio cable, the USB cord going from the Behringer unit to the PC, ferrite on the LP500 going to the PC. The power cables going to everything. Yeah, I went on a spending spree from Palomar Engineers, man, and I guess kind of nipped any issues in the bud before. Now, I have had some issues, like keying up where I'll lose, sometimes out of the blue, I'll lose internet while on 75 meters. I can't browse if I'm keyed up, like if I'm trying to look something up, things like that. And I've had issues in the past where when using the software on the PC for the LP500, where it used to drop out when I would key up on 40 meters. But it seems to like come and go and do it when it wants to, ferrite on it or not. So I just keep ferrite on everything and keep my fingers crossed. But for the most part, I'd say 98% of the time I don't have any issues. W3 MMR.
I don't know how you can be a ham radio operator and not have any issues. Hold on. I want to try one more thing here. I'm going to try grounding the... That didn't do any good. Alright, never mind. This is all screwed up.
Yeah, it's a prerequisite to have problems if you're a ham operator.
Yeah, but these are... Ooh, hear that? These are new problems.
Of course we hear it. It's driving us crazy.
Bingo. What, so how's the vacation home, Phil? How's the noise level?
Everything's super good, man. I changed my antenna. Now I'm using an off-center FET. I added 80 feet to one leg. So I got an 80-foot leg, and I got a 160-foot leg. And surprisingly, no RF problem. Maybe a little bit more RF, but actually, it's hard to say. And the antenna's higher up, and now 160 it tunes, super fine on 160. Ironically, I'm never up at night to go on 160, but yeah. So I've been messing around with stuff like that.
Yeah, I wonder how your signal is on 160 as well, with being compared from, the 160 total feet to 160 and 80. I wonder how that is. Because this is a 125 foot inverted V total length, and I run it on 160 with this balanced L matching network, and it works fine. It tunes it fine, but same power level compared to like my father, who's right over the bridge going to the same station. He's always 10 dB stronger than I am. So I'd be interested to see if you noticed any increase in signal.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's hard for me to do an AB because I'm never really on at night to kind of take a notice. It seems like things are the same on 80 and 40. I can't really. I know that the noise floor came up a little bit, but it's not like electrical in nature. It's just like that, atmospheric hiss. So I think that's just, the antenna's up higher, So I don't know. So I'm gonna leave it like this for a while and see what's what.
Nice. Yeah, well, your signal seems about the same here. It's definitely not weaker. You're a good 30 over, so sounding good down here. Well, good luck with it, man. Yeah, and the only time I ever get on 160 is early in the morning at about 5 o'clock when I get up for work. Gary, K1IC, Glenn, M1SNG, my father, some others usually will get on. Kevin, K2, K2XAM. Some mornings will get on, but it's hit or miss. 9 times out of 10, I'm here on 3885. But some mornings, maybe once or twice a week, I'll go down to 160.
And what frequency are you guys on?
1885 generally. Usually 1885 for AM, and sometimes I'll get on 1857 on sideband. But I can't go up any higher, honestly, than 1885 because I can't get the match below 2 to 1. It's like 1.6 to 1, 1.5 to 1 on 1885. If I go up to 1895, it's above 2 to 1. I can't get it any lower, so I try to stay below 1885.
Oh, you're getting close to that point where the impedance rotates. Yeah, that's tricky.
Is that what's going on? See, I always wonder what was going on and why, I can tune lower in the band, which almost doesn't make any sense, and not higher in the band.
Yeah, if you look at a graph of impedance, like antenna impedance, so the impedance will, it'll go through its circle, like it'll start negative, meaning it's capacitive, and then it'll kind of cross the zero axis where it's pure resistive, and then it'll start going inductive, and then it'll get to the point where it just shoots straight up, like the Challenger space shuttle. And then also it just comes straight down, and then the curve repeats. So you're getting close to that part where it just becomes like a completely open circuit.
Okay, gotcha. I could hook the Nano VNA up probably, and see what it looks like.
Yeah, I noticed that if you if you had a resonant 75 meter dipole that you were feeding with coax and you just swapped out the coax for open wire, it would be a problem because you'd have that dip right where the 1-to-1 was. So you make the antenna either shorter or longer than it needs to be for the whole band, and then the tuner will tune in a linear fashion. You won't have that part where it gets wonky.
How about that? I never knew that. That's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, there literally are frequencies where antennas will not tune, or not just an antenna, but anything, it won't tune, and you're finding it. You're butting up against that. I had the same thing also. It's like, wait a minute, why am I going up in frequency, which would theoretically require less antenna, and there literally is a segment 30 kilohertz wide where I cannot tune it. No matter what I do, I can't tune it. And the reason is because it's at like 5,000 ohms at that frequency.
Yeah, and I even tried adding like inductance to my tuner. I was like, maybe if I add inductance, that'll help out. You know, and I wound like these 2 little coils and added like 10 microhenries of inductance on each coil, and it actually made things worse.
Yeah, the problem is just you're trying to load into such a high impedance, it's not possible. I mean, the only thing that'll load into that is the end of a quarter wavelength of wire, because tuning components will match into several hundred ohms, but when you start getting into the thousands of ohms, the voltage is just so high and the current is so low, it's beyond what normal inductors and capacitors are going to be able to match to.
So basically, don't go near the tuner.
Well, I mean, you're technically building a tuner for an end-fed antenna, so like if you had to match to it, it would end up being an L. It would be an L match, but the component values would have to be such that you're creating an enormous impedance match. You know, you're going from whatever, I guess, the rig to, you know, as if you had a half wavelength of wire. And that's somewhere between 3,000 and 5,000 ohms. It's a huge change.
Interesting. Cool stuff. School is in session. W3MMR.
Here's what you gotta do. Welcome to the Timtron Institute of Technology.
My God, I'm gonna spread my elbows out. Alright, now we're 15 kilohertz wide, so maybe that'll get them away a little bit.
What's going on?
Species like the Japanese beetle.
The other one, the gypsy moth. Remember that one back in the 70s?
Right? All of a sudden, your whole yard is screwed up because of little bastards. Well, now your QSO is all screwed up because same thing, little bastard.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, they fired up on 3883. It's like, you know, are these guys' antennas so terrible where they can't hear us, but hear like somebody only right down the street in their QSO party?
You know, I tried that because I was trying to figure out what's going on, and if you actually go to 3883 and you listen on lower sideband, we actually don't sound like anything to them.
But like nothingness, or is it like?
No, because they're the lowest frequency they could possibly hear if their receivers were perfect would be 3883, which is 2 kilohertz above our carrier. Well, in this case below, but you know, see what I'm saying? It's like it would be a 2 kilohertz tone. Well, most don't get, you know, 10 hertz. If they start at like 300 hertz, now you go up even further, and by the time you get to like the middle of their vocal range, it's like our upper sibilance frequencies, which don't have a lot of energy in it. So yeah, to them we're not even there.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Okay, yeah, now I see.
I mean, theoretically, they should check, you know, more on the other side of where their lower sideband frequency is set to. But, you know, a lot of sidebanders don't understand that. They look at it strictly from the sense of, well, everybody's operating sideband. Well, no, that's not true. But they're not going to do anything different in, you know, just in case there's an AM QSO. It's just how they think.
Maybe they're like cats. Cats, they just want to like cuddle you, and so like you're in bed, and then the cat jumps on the bed, and then he just like nestles right up behind your leg, because you know they just want to be cuddled, and that could be the same thing going on. They just want to be near someone.
Just want to be cuddled.
All right. right, so here's a cat story for you, and this is true. I didn't think it was true because it was so outlandish, but it actually is. So my business partner was telling me that his brother, this is secondhand information, but I believe it, his brother and his wife were in bed one night, and they have cats who like to, climb under the covers and should do just that. They like to, go into the burrow there. And so my friend's brother was saying that he was lying on his side, and the cat was, right behind him by his butt, and everybody sleeping peacefully until that big kielbasa dinner that he had that night started to emerge. And so, not thinking anything of it, he just let one fly, not really being aware of the fact that the cat was there. Well, this is a relatively new cat to the family, an adopted cat. So he lets one fly, and all of a sudden, the cat goes into major attack mode, and he's wearing boxers. So the cat takes both paws and goes into kill or be killed mode, and starts clawing as if its life depended on it. And of course, my friend's brother jumps out of bed, and the back of his boxers are shredded. He couldn't sit for several days. But look at it from the cat's standpoint. There you are, peacefully curled up in the warmth of someone's butt cheeks, and you're there purring away, having a nice dream, and all of a sudden, this monster in the dark with horridly foul breath lunges at you to attack, waking you up from your pleasant slumber. Yeah, you go into total kill or be killed mode. That's a true story, and one BCG.
Oh my God. I can't say that that hasn't happened to one of my cats, but they didn't go into fight or flight. More so flight.
Actually in the Dutch oven?
Yeah, the cat was in the... Well, it wasn't a Dutch oven until they turned the gas on.
Wow. Now, if that were a bird, that bird'd be dead. Birds can't handle all that gas. They just drop dead.
Oh, yeah, that's why you got the canary thing going on. But yeah, well, Murphy has been in that situation. But the thing is, he and I Dutch oven each other. There you go. How's that for TMI?
It's a big TMI.
My God, man. It's like some relationships I hear people have, they do that with their significant other, and that just makes you want to puke, It's like kind of throw up in my mouth. But anyway, on this note, I'm not leaving because we're talking about this, but I gotta go. I gotta start getting things cleaned up, get ready for bed, man. My vacation is over at 6 o'clock tomorrow morning, so I have to get ready for work again tomorrow. 9 days off was nice, I tell you, but it's time to go back. So my son left yesterday, flew back yesterday morning, so all was good with that. Dude, Clark, every time I go to the airport now and he wears that Umner tag, the unaccompanied minor necklace at the airport, I think about the time you were explaining to me how it all works and everything. You told me about that tag, and every time I see that, now I think of it. It makes me think of you, man. So, anyway, we'll look for you guys next time, man. Good signals all the way around. Enjoy the Dutch oven conversation. W3MMR.
You had some good time with Perry Jr. All right, 7-3. Have a great evening.
Yeah, that's great, Perry. Have a good evening. See you later. W2PHL.
Yeah, it was fun, man. We did a lot. Battleship, New Jersey, Franklin Institute, went to the movies. Man, it was a long week, man, so it was kind of nice to have a day by myself today. Kind of one day of full vacation, but it was worth every minute of it. Catch you guys later. W3MO.
And there you go. N1 BCG.